So it's been a while since I sat down and filmed a chatty video. I think the last one I made was when I did my 2024 inspo video, and that was quite a while ago. So here we are. For this week's video, I wanted to walk you guys through everything I've made in 2024 so far since we're at the middle of the year. And I thought I'd made like 3 things, so I was scared I wasn't gonna have enough to make this video. It's actually a pretty hefty pile of stuff, which is nice. But I think that's enough for me. If you're new here, my name is Bella and I like to knit and crochet, and I also make my own yarn. And we are gonna get right into the video. I'm gonna start with the very first thing that I made this year. So this is the first thing I made in 2024. This is a merino and alpaca tank top, and I actually used a pattern to make this one. I don't normally use patterns, but I saw this one on Etsy and I thought maybe it would be a good idea to try making something from a pattern for once. And it came out really cute. I didn't follow the pattern exactly. I did mess up in some places, which I guess that tends to happen if you're not used to following patterns. But I really like the way it came out. It was supposed to be with these little ties in 3 different places on the top. I decided to use these little mother of pearl buttons instead because I liked the way that they looked. And the yarn was a gift from a friend. It's the Lang Yarns Frida in this purple, teal, red colorway. And the trim is Santa's Mini Alpaca in this lilac color. I think it goes really well with the merino. And I'm just very happy with the way this came out. I don't wear it as much as I should. I tend to get a little bit bloated and that makes me kind of weird about my body. But I would like to start wearing it more, especially this summer. It is merino and alpaca though, which means it does get a little bit hot. The next thing is probably my favorite thing that I've made ever, and it is this little Raglan tee. I used some very special yarn from New Zealand to make this. I bought this yarn when I was in Auckland visiting my family, and it has all these beautiful stripes and color changes in it, and I was just immediately drawn to it. So I had to buy 2 skeins, and then I decided to make this little top. And I actually followed Minigrew Studios' Raglan tutorial to make this. I will link it up here and in the description below. Definitely have to give credit to Kate because this is my first ever Raglan and her tutorial made it so easy. I managed to do the shaping by myself, but the Raglan increases were very well explained in her tutorial. So definitely check it out if you've never made a Raglan before. So the yarn that I used for the body of this is the Unique DK by Earth Yarns. I'm not 100% sure what the colorway is called. I do have the tag in my journal somewhere. It seems like the colorway doesn't have a name, but the number for the color is listed here. And the yarn I used for the ribbing was some that I had left over from making that sweater for Oscar. If you haven't seen that video, I'm going to link it up here. But it was just the Mayflower Easy Care Classic in the color olive, and I did it all around the neckline and on the sleeves as well. But at the bottom, I just did the ribbing using the same yarn as I used for the rest of the top. Also, a very important but often overlooked detail, I added these 2 little mismatched buttons at the neckline here, just to give it something a little more interesting. Sometimes you want to make something that's a bit more unique. So I added these 2 little buttons. And the buttonholes are actually functional, not that I ever unbutton them. And these were just buttons I had in my stash that my mom had given to me. They're just plastic. The next little thing that I made was this mini Cardi. I was super inspired by Nat's Record on Instagram to make something like this. And I'm really happy with the way it came out. I used actually the leftover yarn that I had from this one for parts of this. Some of these purple variegated stripes are using the same yarn that I used for that first project. So yeah, this one was a real stash buster. I mostly crocheted it, but I did knit some ribbing around the bottom edge. And the sleeves are only half length, and that's because I was running out of yarn. I would like to make another one of these at some point with some different colors and maybe with longer sleeves, just because I wore this one a lot after I first made it, and then I kind of stopped wearing it recently, and I think it's just because the half sleeves are a very specific vibe and sometimes I'm just not feeling it. So yeah, maybe I should make one with longer sleeves. So the yarns I used for this are a combination of synthetics, mohair, and wool. I also used mohair for this little ruffle here and sari silk yarn to kind of tie it all together. And I used a secondhand vintage button which I bought on DBA. I just thought this looked really pretty with all the yarns. I wanted something that was gonna make a bit of a statement but not overpower the rest. So yeah, I think this button really did that. I just wish that I had been able to make it with longer sleeves. Maybe I should just frog the sleeves and then like redo them longer. But I'm also tossing up on whether I should sell this because, I don't know, I think it deserves more love than what it's getting right now. Next on the list is this cute little pair of mini shorts. I knit these following Kate B's tutorial. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of Kate B's, and I knit these using a combination of yarn that I had bought, yarn that I already had in my stash, and yarn that I had spun, because I just started spinning yarn around the time that I started making these. So the pops of green are a discontinued alpaca yarn from Sandnes again. They don't stock this color anymore, so I can no longer buy it, but it is really pretty, and I think it's like one of my favorite shades of green. And then the maroon and the light purple are both Permin yarns. I think one of them is Damar and the other one is Luna. And you can just barely see it, but here are the little stripes of handspun. So I don't wear these shorts as much as I would like, and there are a couple reasons for that. One of them is that I didn't do the increase rows for long enough before I decided to split off. So I get some of this weird bunching at the front when I wear them, which is not super cute. But that's completely my fault. I was just being lazy and I now have to suffer the consequences. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but the yarn that I used for the ribbing at the top and the bottom, they are supposed to be the same color, but they're two different dye lots. They no longer stole the dye lot that I had at home. Okay, so we're officially halfway through the video. If you guys have made it this far, thank you. I appreciate you. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like and maybe leave a comment telling me which of these pieces is your favorite. And I would really appreciate it if you wanted to subscribe. I have been making these videos pretty regularly for a while now. I've been a little less regular as of late, but I'm trying to get back into it. So if you have anything that you would like to see, do let me know. I'm trying to make videos every 2 weeks. Okay, so the next thing on the list is a hat, if you couldn't already tell. And I made this hat using handspun yarn. The entire top portion of this hat is handspun, and then the bottom parts are just some yarn that I had in my stash. I ran out of the handspun and I didn't have enough fiber to spin more, so I kind of just had to improvise. I made this because I really wanted like a wool bucket hat for spring. I basically never wear it. I think Oscar wears it more than I do. I really like it. I think it's pretty. I just wish that I'd had enough handspun to make the entire hat out of it. I used a front post double crochet to make this, and it makes it look almost knit-like. I really like the stitch, and I really like the shape of this hat. So maybe I should, now that I have a wheel, just spin up a whole bunch of yarn and try making it again entirely out of handspun. So you can probably tell from the size of it, but this one was not made for me. This is something that I made for Oscar for his birthday. He turned 25, and I wanted to make him something that would last a really long time. I feel like a lot of his sweaters get worn out super quickly, so I knew I had to use something with a little bit of acrylic in it. And he didn't have any vests, so I wanted to make him a vest because I had already made him a sweater. I used the Hobby Winter Glow. I used 2 different colors held together. Oscar picked the colors that he wanted, and then I kind of just knitted up on very big needles. But I used a lot of new techniques to make this. I did a folded collar for the first time in my life. And I also learned how to do the tubular cast on and tubular cast off. It's kind of hard to show you guys, but I really like the way this looks. And this is so nice and squishy. I really love the variegation in this. I really feel like it just looks so beautiful. It's really hard to capture it on camera, and Oscar loves it, so I think I did a good job. Now we're getting into the more recent makes. I finished this when we were in Cambridge. I started working on it before then, and I finished it in like the first week or the second week that we were there. But this one is entirely crocheted. I created this really cool texture at the front here with a very special stitch that I made up myself. And down here it's just a bunch of double crochets. I just wanted to add length, and I didn't mind if it was a little bit meshy. So yeah, that's what I did for that. And I'm very happy with the technique. Like, I think it looks really good, but I wish I hadn't used cotton for this. I feel like it just makes it look a bit cheap. I kind of knew going in that I don't really love the way cotton looks when you crochet with it. And maybe I should have thought about that a little bit more before I decided to make an entire tank top out of cotton. So I don't wear this a lot. I'll probably put it up for sale when I launch my website, but I do think it's cute, and I'm really happy with the way that that stitch I invented came out. I think I want to use that for more projects in the future. This is the last of my finished makes, and this one is a little boatneck tee that I made following Nell's Knits tutorial. I didn't follow it like to the T. I diverged a little bit because when I tried following the exact instructions in her tutorial, it came out a little small. I had to adjust it a little bit. When you look at it from far away, it just looks kind of variegated, but it's actually striped. Here are the stripes. They're super pretty. And I used 2 skeins of yarn to make this. One of the skeins was a hand-dyed Madeline Tosh Merino Light, and the other one was some Blue Face Leicester that I picked up while I was in the UK as well. And you may have noticed this little guy. I got really good at spinning while I was in Cambridge, and I decided that I wanted to add a little handspun touch to this. So I made this out of my own handspun. It's just like a little crocheted circle ruffle thing. And I added these 2 buttons because I thought they would look good, and they do. This green one was another one of these buttons that I got on DBA. So the last thing that I'll show you guys is this whip that I have going at the moment. This one is going to be another one of these little Raglans. I'm actually writing a pattern for this, and this is going to be the second prototype. So I'm just working away on this. Hopefully the pattern will be ready for testing by the time I upload my next video. If you're interested in testing a pattern for that raglan with the buttons, definitely follow me over on Instagram for updates on when the pattern tester call is released. So that's it for this week's video, guys. I hope you had fun watching me yap away about my crochet and knit projects. I had a lot of fun filming this video, and I look forward to seeing what else I'm going to make this year. Hopefully you guys do too. Thanks again for being here, and don't forget to subscribe. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!